Hi, this is Nick Petersen with Cherry Blossom Motion Graphics, and today we are going to make our own signature appear on the screen using the Write On paint effect. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to open up After Effects, and once you've done that, you're going to press Command Y to create a new solid. And if you have anything other than black, I would suggest changing it to black. And you press OK, and you accept the settings for 720 HD video. And you can use anything you want to, but I find this one the easiest to work with. And you have a nice new black solid. And if you don't already have it, I have it down here. If you don't already have it, go to Window, Paint, and make sure that you have your paint panel up. And because we're working on black, I would suggest using white as your foreground color. If you don't already have that, then that's okay. The other thing that I'm using, which makes this a lot easier, is I'm using a Wacom tablet, specifically the Bamboo Fun. You can do this with a mouse, but I just find it easier if you're using a Wacom tablet. It just makes things a lot easier. So from now on, I'm going to use the pen instead of the mouse. And over here you see black solid 3, which is what we want. But with the paint effect, you can't apply it in the composition panel. You have to do it in the layer panel. So you want to double click like so, and that brings up, you can see here, layer panel. That's where we're working. The composition panel is still active, but we're going to be working in the layer panel, and it has its own timeline and its own settings. Okay. The next thing you want to do is you want to come over here into the paint panel, and as I said, make sure that the color is set to white. You can do whatever color you want, but I just find it easier if it's strongly contrasting. Make sure the mode is set to normal. You have other options which are the same as the blending modes, but for right now, normal. You're going to write on all the channels, red, green, blue, and alpha. And the duration, make sure it's set to write on. If you set it to constant, the signature will always appear in every single frame. Single frame, it will only appear once. You have a custom setting, but the one that we're interested in right now is write on. So make sure you've got all of that set up. The rest of it you don't need to worry about. And it's as simple as this, folks. All you do, you come over here into the layer panel and you start signing away. Now notice, each time I lifted the pen off, the layer disappeared and I had to start a new one. They didn't really disappear, you just can't see them. So if you go down here into black solid, twirl down the disclosure triangle, find effects, because paint is technically considered an effect. Twirl down the paint, you see brush 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now if let's set our work area to 9 seconds. You can drag it over, or you could drag the current time indicator over and then press the N key. Notice here, we see it all the time. Okay, it's already there. That's because all of these layers have put their information up at the same time. And if you go through a RAM preview by pressing 0 on the number pad, you see that they all animated in the same time. And that doesn't really look like a signature. All of the information is there, but it just doesn't look like a signature. So I'm pressing 0 to stop the RAM preview. And what we can do, since we know that the first thing that I did was I signed the capital N of my name, then the rest of my first name, my middle initial, and then my last name, we know that that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was right in a row, in order. If you look here at the timeline, you'll see that there are 2 little dots. Let me move the current time indicator out of the way. See that there are 2 little dots, one there and one there. And if you twirl down stroke options, you can see that it sets the end value. So we can go back and forth, and you can see, oh wow, it's going through that again. Now it automatically sets a keyframe. We don't want that because it's going to mess things up. But that is really what makes it move, that ending value. We don't want to change that, but we can use that information. So we're going to twirl back up brush 1, and we're going to take the second layer, and we're just going to click on it anywhere and drag it out so that now they move one right after the other. Now watch the N and then watch the rest of my first name. The N and then the rest of my first name appears as if I'm writing it right there in front of you. You can do that for brush 3. And for brush 4, again, I'm just clicking on the layer anywhere and dragging it over. And when you bring it back, the CTI all the way back to 0, do another ramp preview, you can see that the signature appears right there on the screen as if I were signing it right then myself. And honestly, that's as simple as it gets. It's really not a complex thing to do, but it can look impressive if you use it in the right way. So again, just create a new layer, open it in the layer panel, make sure that you have your paint panel up, choose a color that suits your purposes, set the duration to right on, and sign away, and then just arrange the individual brush layers in the layer panel so that it appears in the right order, and you've got yourself a perfectly, wonderfully automated signature. Hopefully this helps you come up with some creative ideas. Take care.